Vehicular entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
It is Sunday morning, and clearly you know where you are. You are on KXL-FM News 101, and this is Test Miles. We'll spend the next hour talking about cars. I am Nick Miles, and the crew is here. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
You probably should turn your microphone on. It might help.
Nah, I don't.
You're tired, aren't you?
No, I'm okay. I'm ready to go.
Last night, Andrew and I were invited because of Test Miles to go to Vancouver and judge a beard and mustache competition. I'm not sure why we got asked to do that.
I don't know either, because neither you or I have a voluptuous beard or a mustache.
They were some beards that were over 12 inches long.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, you see those pictures on the internet where they have the big crafts, or there's gel in the hair, these elaborate designs, all that.
Yeah, people with curly beards and stuff. I would hate to get a tangle on that, but one of the guys that was there last night had an accident with flames and had burnt a big chunk out of his beard. Anyway, that's what we were up to last night. Brad and Sean are here as well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. I'm sorry I didn't have quite the interesting night. I was at the ALS fundraiser, so one of us had to class it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, way to make us feel bad.
Yeah, thanks, Brad, for bringing the show down so quickly. What you gave them some stuff to give away, too, at the ALS
Yeah,
function.
we did. Dinner for El Gaucho, and then Lucky Limousine gave us a vehicle to drive, so 6 hours worth of limo time and some cigars from Broadway Cigars. So we stepped it up,
Wow.
brought in $1,700 for the foundation, so it was great.
This charity gig sounds kind of better than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, that sounded really cool.
Sean was with us last night, and he told me, like, as the judging star, I want to be a judge.
I thought it'd be fun to sit there and judge some of those guys and just point and laugh.
I'm pretty sure Sean judges people all the time.
He
so
does.
that's
He's
okay.
a judger.
There was a lot of women with homemade beards, which was very interesting.
Well, we were in Vancouver.
It was women.
Well, I'm shocked that there wasn't women with real beards there.
There was two women with beards made out of bacon, which was troubling because she started eating her own beard.
Yeah, it was weird. They just had this glaze on them the whole night. It was off-putting. But...
All right, let's talk about why we're here for the next hour. We're here to talk about cars. We have had a very interesting week. I actually was in Mexico for the week. I was in Cabo, and I didn't get to drive a car. I got to drive a golf cart, which I haven't driven for a whole week. I actually had the DTs. I came back to America, and I was like, put me in something with a real gas pedal, which was kind of fun. But the little island that I was on only had golf carts. That was fun. Anyway, you have not. What have you been driving this week, Brad?
I've had the Honda Pilot, which is kind of an interesting vehicle. So it's this the 3 rows of seating, which I think we need to talk about. Does anybody really use that third row? I spent the entire week with it folded down, just hauling things.
You have a bunch of kids, though. But, Sean, you had your first loaner of the week. What were you driving?
I was driving one of the nominees for Car of the Year, the Mazda 3. And it's a fantastic vehicle.
We're going to get to talk about that in a little while. But this whole show is going to be kind of different. And I can't tell you how excited I am and somewhat nervous I am, too. Hopefully, I'm not as nervous as my guests today. But I would say that you guys are the premium car family in Portland, definitely. The Tonkins are here, Nancy and Brad Tonkin are here.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the Tonkins.
A round of applause for you. Good morning. Good Sunday morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Did you have any trouble getting out of bed this early on a Sunday morning?
No, but I just am wondering, how can I grow a beard like those women you saw last
You
night?
just have to fry up bacon and put bacon on
Yeah,
your
you
face.
just need some string and a bacon.
It was troubling to say the least to see that, someone with a bacon beard. So we have so much to talk about. You guys, how many dealerships do you manage now in the Portland area?
Amongst the different businesses, right about 17.
17 and 17 dealerships, including motorcycle as well, right?
Including motorcycles, yes.
Yeah, and of course we had Art and Steve in last week from Ron Tronkin Gran Turismo out on 122nd, soon to be moving to Wilsonville, who are from the oldest Ferrari store in America, and they told us about their new baby in there, the new Ghibli. So that was that the first dealership that you guys had?
No, the first dealership, my dad started originally with his brother and had Kaiser Fraser and then Mercury. But his first dealership was Chevrolet in 1960.
And so the Chevy deal is now, is it always been out where it is today on 122nd, or did it move?
Originally, it was on Barber Boulevard.
All right, and so you moved to 122nd at some point.
Right.
And it's still, and I was there the other day. It looks all shiny and new. You guys has a really big blue entranceway and looks all fresh. You just refreshed the dealership, right?
Nick, we did what General Motors told us we had to
Really?
do. Well, yeah, that's an interesting story, which we can get into if you want later.
But you did keep the Ron Tonkin sign out there.
Oh, sure. Over the years, we had many people from General Motors, from Chevrolet, that came out and said, we've got a new sign program. We want you to put up the new sign. And we said, are you kidding? This sign's close to being a landmark. And the story behind that sign really is back in the late 50s, early 60s, my father used to go to, Nancy's grandfather, used to go to Las Vegas, and he saw the signs there.
I was just about to say it was like the Vegas sign.
So he wanted to put up a sign that was similar or similar to what you'd see there, and to really draw attention to the dealership so that you could see it from miles away. And so that is where that sign came from, and it's actually about to go on the historic registry now.
Yeah, it should do, because I recognize, I mean, that's part of the landmark, definitely out on 122nd, and it looks good, and it's very sparkly, and of course I like anything sparkly.
Yeah, people love that sign. And Adam, my brother, Brad's nephew, is actually running that store now. So
Let's talk about, so we don't confuse people, the structure of the family. So unfortunately, we lost Ron Tonkin recently. Probably still stings a lot to talk about it, but he really was the leader and the founder of the Ron Tonkin family of dealerships, which now carry his name. And who still in the family members, so his sons, 3 sons, right? You have 2 brothers, Brad. Ed and yourself still work in the car business, and you still actively run the dealerships. And then Ed's kids, Nancy and Adam, actively work in the dealerships, and you have kids. Are they thinking about getting in, Brad? Are your kids thinking about getting into the deal, or they may want nothing to do with the car business?
So I've got 3 kids. My oldest daughter's 21, and she's actually going to school in Colorado, and her focus is on becoming a school teacher. Wants to be a high school econ teacher. My son Brendan is a car nut. I mean, this is what this kid loves and loves to talk about and read about. So I wouldn't be surprised if right now he's thinking he wants to go into your business, Nick, which is automotive journalism of some
Oh, right.
kind. But
you tell him there's no money in it, right?
Yeah.
If he wants to be poor
it's a
the
lot
rest
of fun,
his
though.
life.
You get to drive a lot of fun cars.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's interested in that as well, and perhaps we'll go into the business side of things too. And our youngest, she's too new to raid. I'm not sure what she's going to do.
So it's still going on. All right,
Yeah.
we are going to talk more about the dealerships. We're going to talk more about For the Love of Cars. I want to talk with you guys somewhat about the brands and the latest happening in the brands. We're also going to talk a little bit about the philosophy behind the Tonkin family. You guys seem to have the formula right. Where many have tried, you have succeeded. People fall by the wayside, but you seem to get it right. And we'll talk about that philosophy of the Tonkin family of cars. Also going to talk a little bit about some of the new models that are coming out. I know you guys just took delivery of some new Audi A3s. I get to drive that next week. We'll talk about the expansion of the Audi line and also that specific brand of car. And we'll talk a little bit about the loving of cars, which I think you guys do really well. We got that coming up. This is TestMiles. You're on FM News 101. My guests are Brad Tonkin and Nancy Tonkin. We are going to have a magical show for you. Stand by for more car talk.
Vehicular entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
It is a Sunday morning party. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101. I'm Nick Miles. The team is here, and our special guests today in the studio are Brad Tonkin and Nancy Tonkin. Nancy, you and I did TV. I mean, I've done it with Brad quite a few times, but you were on almost every week with me on the TV.
we did. I miss you, and I miss that so much.
You know,
Good old days.
still, you have one of the top 5 videos that we've ever done. That Audi 2010 Audi A4, I think, has nearly 500,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a good-looking car. That was a fun shoot.
We had a lot of fun with those cars every week, but it was hard work. We worked pretty hard, didn't we?
We did. it, but we did have a good amount of fun.
And I learned more about cars than probably in that 4 years that show was on than I will ever forget. I had so much information. Let's talk about the Tonkin family dealerships. So the first dealership was the Chevy dealership the first dealership that's still around was the Chevy dealership, and then followed all these other dealerships. How is the Tonkin family of dealerships different? Because there's something there. You guys are definitely the biggest in Portland. You're definitely one of the greenest, and you always come in the very top of the employee-employer relationships. When the surveys are done, people love to work for the Tonkin family of dealerships. What's the difference? I mean, what do you go in your mind to say we're going to do differently than that image of the car dealer everybody has?
Well, it starts with, we call ourselves the Tonkin family of dealerships, and we really look at it as a family. I mean, we're all working together. My brother and I have always been focused on people working with one another. Nobody works for us. They work with us. And we're all after, when it's all said and done, we're all after the same thing, which is good business practices, taking care of the customer. You know, we're not Hometown Motors. We're Tonkin dealerships. When you put your name on something, you only have one choice. You have to do it right. Because if you don't do it right, especially with a number of dealerships in one city, you'll get chased out of town very quickly. And that's happened over and over again in this city. The people here are very discriminating, and they want things done right, and they want to know that the people that are behind the cars that they're selling are willing to stand behind what they offer and to do things right. And that's how we've operated. It's just
I think the testament to that is actually Sean, who is my TV producer, who's also part of the radio show. But Sean's bought 12 cars from you, including that Callaway Corvette, and he doesn't. His mom recently needed to buy a car. There was no choice. I mean, there was no choice for them. They went straight back to where they knew they'd get a good deal, right, Sean?
Well, yeah. I mean, my mom's just always had a great experience with the Tonkin, so we've always gone back. I mean, we have gone to other places. Like I did buy a truck from another dealership, and I will never go back. Once we had that horrible experience there, we've just kind of gone back to the Tonkins. They've always greeted us. They know who we are. Because pretty much every time we go to the showroom, we do walk away with a car, it seems like. But
they're just really good salesmen.
Yeah, I mean, they all know us, so it's a great experience.
We've talked a little bit about this on the show in times gone by, and we're actually teaching Andy to drive because he doesn't have a driver's license, and he's pretty ashamed about that, to be on a car show. But how would somebody arm themselves going into buying a new car? So what things do you recommend somebody does?
I would think just do your research. There's so much online right now that you can find out anything you want to know about a car. Come in knowing kind of what you want to spend, your qualifications for buying a new car, and just work with someone. At least when you come into us, you know that you're going to get educated rather than just sold on a car, and we're going to find the right car for you, and we'll give you options. But yeah, just the basics.
Does it help to be aggressive? Like if I went in there wanting to buy a car, should kind of just open up the hood, start unplugging stuff, looking like do I kind of kick a tire?
You can do whatever you want. It might be a different kind of experience for you, but you can do whatever you want.
Do you know how to open the hood on a car?
No.
All right.
Don't you do it by the seat? No, that's the gas cap.
Yeah. No, we'll teach you. We can teach
okay.
you all.
All right, good. Because I want to go in there. I don't want them to know right off the bat within the first 10 seconds that I've never driven a car. I want to go in there and act like, this is my 10th car that I've gotten. It's cool.
I think honesty is probably the best, and these guys will back me up. You be honest with a salesperson. You be honest with your friend at the Tonkin family dealerships. They'll be honest with you.
They're all my friends. I grew up with them. I live like 100 feet away from the iconic sign, and
You do on 122nd.
Yeah, it was like my nightlight going to bed every night as a child.
Apparently, it didn't do the trick because you don't have a driver's license.
Fail.
Yeah, all right.
So really, do your research online, and then what's the secret to getting the price you want on a car?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It always comes down to price, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
No, it really does. Okay, I want to just stop there for just a moment because you ask about shopping for a car, and here's the thing: I can't tell you how many people will tell me that they bought a car and then it's not the right one. They didn't think it through, And after the fact, they realize I really want something different, or I needed something different. So I think, I mean, when you talk about getting the right car, what you really have to, I believe, what you really have to do is you have to imagine yourself driving that car and living with that car, and the way you use a car, what you're going to be doing. I mean, I've got a friend of mine who lives up in Spokane. He's a dear friend, and he's talking about getting a larger CUV. And I said, well, why do you want something that big? Well, because when you guys come up to visit with your golf clubs, I need to be able to put them in the back. And I said, well, how often do we come up there, Danny? Oh, once or twice a year.
Right.
I said, right. So you want to sacrifice all of this gas mileage and the fact that 95% of the time or 98% of the time you're by yourself in the car. Does that make sense? And when there's an alternative, you can get a car carrier or something like that for it. So I like to tell people when they think about the price of the car that they think about not just the purchase price, the acquisition price, but to think about the cost of ownership, to think about the gas mileage. A lot of that, it's very important. If you're trading a car in that gets 15 or 17 miles to the gallon, and you're getting a new car that gets 30 or 40 miles to the gallon, you calculate that in the savings, and you'll see that you can afford more car, or you'll find that you're going to have a much the cost of ownership over the long haul will be a lot. It'll be a lot less.
And I think people don't think about how much it actually costs to own a car, because it's not free. I mean, just that first price is the initial price, and then you have to have service, and you have to put gas in it, and you may want to make changes and alterations and aftermarket stuff to the car. So there are costs, and cars need repairing, right? So you're saying that it's a long-term, it's a life association, not just that one transaction.
Yeah, it is. And as far as the cost goes, as far as the actual transactional cost for the car, you can find a lot of that information on the internet. I mean, it's easy to find automobiles are one of the only things that you see what the dealer pays for the car and what the retail price is. And we tend to get so balled up, so focused on what we're on the deal. And when it's all said and done, a dealer doesn't make a ton of money on the car typically. It's over the life of the car between that and
servicing and just taking care of it. All right, we're going to talk more about that. I want to talk a little bit about the Audi dealership, and I also want to talk about a new venture that you guys are involved in, which is kind of cool. I don't think anybody else is doing that, and that is something special. We'll save it. You're listening to TestMiles on FM News 101. My guests, the Tonkins.
This is Test Miles with automotive expert Nick Miles. Vehicular entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
Good Sunday morning to you. This is FM News 101. I'm Nick Miles. You're listening to Test Miles. In the studio, our special guests, the Tonkins, Nancy and Brad. Also, our regular team are here, Andrew, Sean, and our Bradley. And we are talking about Tonkin, the love of cars, the Portland car scene. Brad and Nancy, you have a new venture that the Tonkin family are involved in, and it's something slightly different than you've done. It's not really a dealership. It's kind of an idea, isn't it?
Yes, it's called Central Sales, and it's a dealership concierge service, and it's all focused around the customer. It's a very, very simple, easy process. First of all, if you have a car or several that you're interested in, we'll bring the car to your house to test drive, one or several.
Hang on a sec. Make a list. Lamborghini,
Yeah.
Porsche, Maserati,
that's awesome.
Oh,
Ferrari.
no, we're going to be getting all these. No, we'll bring the car to your house. We'll bring the paperwork to your house. You can literally do the whole transaction in your pajamas. And so far, it's just, there's not much behind it yet, but we're building it up. And
What if you don't wear
customers just
pajamas?
love it. You can wear anything. Whatever you're comfortable in.
Oh,
In
man.
your house.
Sorry, I'm just opening up the can of worms there for you guys. So I'm interested in a vehicle. I get in touch with Central Sales. How?
You can visit centralsales.com, and we have actually a new site up with some simple videos on how the process goes. You can meet the team. It's a small team, but you are just taken care of from every step of the way.
So it's like the personal shopper.
Yes, exactly.
It's like a car personal shopper, and you will find the vehicle that I'm interested in, and you will help me purchase it?
We'll help you purchase it, do the financing, paperwork, everything.
I
The way
mean,
you want it, when you want it.
I do I like going to the dealerships, but I also like the idea that sort of home delivery service that take care of me. I can shop on the internet and then have you guys bring the product to my door. It's kind of like the Amazon.com for cars, right?
Yeah, it used to be that people would choose their dealer and then choose their dealer and then choose their car. Now they choose their car and then choose their dealer.
Oh, yeah.
But the way things are today, so much, you mentioned Amazon, getting things delivered to your home, ordering online, whatnot. This is very similar to that. It's a concept that my brother Ed has developed, and the idea was to truly cater to the customer that just doesn't have the time or want to dedicate that time to running from different dealerships and driving different cars. So we bring the shopping experience to you, and it's really been a fascinating business model. If you check out the reviews for Central Sales online, they're just off the charts. I mean, the people that have bought cars this way swear they'll never do it conventionally again. I mean, they just absolutely love it. It's been very successful.
And so customers are using it already. So I look up, now, is it limited to any brands, just the brands you carry, or will you help people find the car? How do they say, hey, I want to drive a Kia Sorento, or do they say I'm looking for a CUV? I mean, I guess you can say anything, right?
Yeah, you can say anything, and it's any of the brands that we sell, the myriad brands that we sell, or if it's something that we don't sell, we have a lot of connections with other dealers we're very close to, and we'll go ahead and grab a car there and also make it available. So the selection really is designed to meet your needs.
Now, the last two dealerships that came online for you were the Fiat Studio in Beaverton and then the Audi store, I think. Am I right in saying that? And the Audi store seems to be a huge success. I mean, every time I'm down there, there is lots of people in the studio or in the dealership looking at new cars. And you guys have just taken delivery of some of their new A3s, right?
We did. We just got in, I think, 5 or 6 new A3 sedans this last Friday. So they're available to test drive at the dealership. Awesome, awesome car. And we're actually having a big launch party that everyone is welcome to come. Hope you will join us. It's at Urban Studio in the Pearl, Thursday, April 3rd. And I believe it starts about 6 o'clock at night. But you can come. It's kind of a walkthrough event. Have some food and drink, and
the cars will be there.
The cars will be there, yeah, and people to answer your questions. Sales specialists.
I'm actually I'm heading to Silicon Valley this week to go test drive it with Audi for the first time and get the presentation on the car. I know a little bit about the vehicle because it was launched at the LA Auto Show this just last year. And we got to see some versions of the car that we haven't seen yet. So not only is there a sedan, which will probably be the volume, there's a wagon, there's a TDI, there's an e-tron version, which is the plug-in hybrid version of the car. There's an S version, there's a cabriolet version. Pretty much whatever you're looking for, the A3 has it. Now, it's a smaller vehicle, the A3. It's replacing the outgoing A3, obviously, but it's this new, very hot category in which there's 5 cars in the category: Buick Verano, Acura ILX, the BMW 2 Series, the CLA, and the A3. So it's quite a competitive segment. But the A3 has some technology. I think it's the world's first use of the 4G LTE phone system in the car. So it'll have the fastest phone system that's available, plus that 11mm thick magnesium-backed screen that uses the NVIDIA Tegra 2 card, the fastest graphic card. I mean, the technology in this card blows me away.
Wow.
Nick, you've asked us to do the radio show here with you today. And, as much as you know about this car, I think I'd kind of like to have you come out and do some training on the A3.
Yeah, man. Dang, Nick.
I'll be selling the A3 down at the Ron Tonkin Audi.
We'll see you at our Friday morning sales meeting, please, 8 a.m.
I mean, I'm just impressed. I mean, Audi have done, they were the bottom of the pile out of the luxury brands several years ago, and now they're scrambling almost close to the top. They're outpacing the other manufacturers in that category. They're also doing really well as far as technology concerned. I mean, they're hot cars now. Younger generation wants an Audi. It's highly tech. It looks great on the outside. They perform unbelievably, especially as S versions. I drove, and if you happen to be in law enforcement, turn your radio off right now. I drove the Audi R8 over Thanksgiving, and I took my friend who's a physician in it, and we did 0 to 100 miles an hour in 7 seconds, and he had an out-of-body experience. He was just like, this thing is amazing. This is the same family that has Lamborghini. So Audi and is part of Lamborghini. It's the same group. And so a lot of that Lamborghini engineering went into that R8. I mean, they have from the most amazing affordable supercar right down to a luxury small car that fits the whole family. I mean, it's just a great brand. It's hard to find something I don't like about the brand. So how is Audi doing in Portland? Are they making a breakthrough? Are people buying Audis here?
Yeah, Audi has since we opened the store. We're the second Audi dealership in the city. There's 3 in the state. There's 1 in Bend. There's Sunset, who's been in business in Beaverton for many years, do a wonderful job, and then our store, Audi Wilsonville. And the market share for Audi in the last couple of years has doubled in size.
Wow.
But speaking of the brand, I just want to go back real quick and tell you, and I may take a little longer on this, but how I got into the Audi, why we're in the Audi business.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a cute story. So I was at the Chevrolet store one day and going to lunch with our general manager from the Gran Turismo store. And this was back in 2002. And I said to him, hey, would you bring something over that'd be kind of fun for us to drive? And he brings over an Audi TT, which I'd never been in. I'd seen them, but I'd never been in one. And he goes, here, go ahead and drive it. So I get in the car. I like small cars anyway. So I get in the car and I drive it. And I fall in love with it. And I said to him, hey, why don't you keep this car here? Leave this car here. Let's take it off the lot. I'm going to drive it for a few weeks. So I drive it for a few weeks. And then I wind up actually getting so excited about it. One day I'm talking to one of our other, the fellow who manages our parts warehouse. And he says he's looking at these cars. And I said, well, drive this one. So he drives it and buys it. So I'm moping around for the next couple of weeks because I miss this car. And I'm trying to find something we sell to replace the fun I was having with it. Anyway, I wound up, I couldn't do it. And my wife says to me, why don't you just buy one? I said, well, we don't sell Audi. He goes, I know, but you're a consumer too. And that's what you like. So I called Rob Rosetta up at Sunset, and I ordered a new 2003 Audi TT.
Wow.
And that's the car I drove for a few years. And then I started writing Audi letters because I saw as the brand expanded, there was a need for another dealer.
Right.
And eventually we were fortunate enough to get into the Audi business.
I've actually been on the ride with you where you've been interested in getting a new dealership and you've got it. I remember when you guys were looking at getting the Fiat dealership, and we helped you a little bit with the video and stuff for the Fiat dealership. And I can't tell you how exciting it is to see you guys get a new dealership. Especially, the Tonkin family are the only Fiat dealership here in Portland. Is that right? Or is there another one?
There's another one now on McLaughlin.
Right.
Yeah.
But
two, yeah.
Just to have that first Fiat dealership, and when you actually got it, it's so exciting. It's almost like getting your final exams at the end of the year. You do all this prep and research and presentation, and then you get the results and find out that you're going to actually have a Fiat dealership. We should talk a little bit about that dealership because that's a very interesting car, and the fact that it's right opposite Mini. What a great place to shop if you're looking for a small car because you get to have the cars back to back. We've talked a lot about your dealerships. We've talked about your central sales. We're going to talk a little bit about what the future holds and also some more advice for the consumer, especially since the younger generation is looking at technology. And then maybe you guys will give the listeners some insight into the best new cars that are out there right now and some recommendations for cars that have to be on their test drive list. Sure, you got plenty of them. You got 17 different rooftops to choose from too. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101. I'm Nick Miles. The whole crew's here. My special guest, the Tonkin. We're going to be back with more talk about the best cars available in our area.
Vehicular entertainment. Test Miles with Nick Miles.
Pow! Unfortunately, we're running out of time fast here on TestMiles, FM News 101. I'm Nick Miles, Andy, Brad, Sean here, and from the Tonkin family of dealerships, the Tonkins have allowed us, at no extra charge to the show this week, to have Brad and Nancy in the studio. We've been talking about your philosophy behind cars. I did a story for Fox Morning News recently about the storms and the trouble that it has caused in car sales, especially back east. We haven't suffered so much here, but it's really caused a huge glut of cars at the factories. They haven't been able to get them out of the factories, so they've been sitting in the factory parking lots, I guess it would be. And there are some incredible car deals right now. In fact, I have heard from several friends that Chevy, it's possible to get between $5,000 and $10,000 off Chevys right now, especially the trucks, because and the Silverado being North American Truck of the Year, because there is such an overstock because they haven't been able to get them. Recommendations for cars that we should look at that you can get a really good deal on, and if anybody should know, you guys should know. What's good to be looking at?
Well, everything is good to be looking at right now. And with the storm back east, and even, the storm we had here, those snow days last month, we have an excess of inventory, so new and used. But with March Madness coming up, we have some great deals on Hondas, Chevys, as you mentioned, the Silverado, fantastic truck. And I'd say to look at some Fiats, too, for someone who wants a little more compact, smaller vehicle that's fun to race around Portland in. Very metropolitan car. I'd look at the 500L, which is new for Fiat. You see Puff Daddy and all those new cool ads.
Oh, I love that
it.
ad in the desert.
Yeah, exactly. But we have some great deals going on. So you can visit our website, tonkin.com, and kind of go to any of our stores' websites from there and see what offers we have going on.
I noticed that that 500 also has the 500 and 500L. They have the Beats audio system in there, Dr. Dre Beats, which is really, really great because the car sounds incredibly as well. And I know tech is the emerging main reason for people to buy. They want more out of their tech in their cars, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, can you blame them? This generation that's coming up, I mean, so tech savvy. That's really the main focus.
We sound old now. These kids today, all they want to do is have their cell phones.
That's true. You see toddlers with iPads. I mean.
My friends, I mentioned I was just on vacation last week in Cancun, and my friends had no problem on the plane. They just give each of the kids an iPad, and they're done. And now you can get Wi-Fi on the plane as well, so it's easy. People want their phone to be part of their car. I know Honda is doing that. They've really integrated their phones into their cars, right?
Yeah, Honda has done that. You see Apple with a new app. They're working with General Motors, Honda, several manufacturers on that. And really, it's a nice way. If you look at the navigational app that you have on your phone, what the automakers are saying is, listen, instead of a consumer having to pay $800 to $1,500 for a Navi system in the car, they can just simply sync it with the phone, and then they can take advantage of things like the navigation, Pandora radio, Facebook, texting, all of these things. And then you also talk about technology. I drove over here in a new MDX, and it's got an Acura MDX. It's got the active braking on it. It's got the
lane departure warning stuff.
Warning and all.
And I like that. We talked about this a little bit off the air, but the Acura nudges you back into the center of the lane, but you don't know it's doing it. So it'll keep the car in the center of the lane to help you avoid wandering out of the lane when you're on your cell phone when you're not supposed to.
Jeez, that sounds like crazy. Should I just wait to get my license until the car drives
you've
yourself?
Waited all this time. What's another 20 years?
Yeah, I guess. Jeez.
We're going to rectify that. We're going to get you your driver's license. You're also on the advisory board, aren't you, for Honda?
Yeah, for the product advisory board for Honda. So I see future stuff I can talk a little bit about, but not much. Right,
because it's all super secret new cars. I know that you did mention some stuff off air, and I'll be, if you want to know about that, just call me. I'll tell everybody about it. The Insight went away. Is there something that's it's going away? Are they going to replace the Insight with something?
So Honda as a company is that's one area where we've been a bit critical because their alternative fuel strategy has not been very clear. And when they brought the Insight out, the second generation, they call it IMA, motor assist system, just wasn't really a groundbreaking system. They have a new one that they brought out, and they've first put it in the Accord, which is the new hybrid Accord, and it's quite successful.
50 miles a gallon that thing does.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
for a mid-sized sedan.
Yeah, no, unbelievable.
So they're looking at that, but this whole discussion about alternative fuel vehicles, it's very interesting when you look at the consumer habits. It's widely thought that the consumer habit would be tending towards saving the earth, but it's really not. It's towards saving money.
Right.
So the sales of these things they're dramatically impacted by the price of gas. And as gas goes up, then their sales go up.
We like to save the earth. It's just a secondary thing for us.
It is. I mean,
and,
it truly is. But they're building better and cleaner cars all along.
All right. We've loved having you here. You are definitely my favorite family. And the dealerships all over town, Tonkin.com. Will you come back and be guests again on the show?
Love to.
Love to. We miss you, Nick.
I miss you so much. Thanks for being here. You're listening to Test Miles.